Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Data Dispatch. I hope you guys are having a great day. We have some really big things to talk about that are happening in the market right now, and that's starting with the S&P 500 that sets another record close, and this is even in times that we have some key inflationary data that will be released this Wednesday, which is going to give us a really kind of stronger gauge on the probability of those first interest rate cuts from the Fed. In addition, we're going to be talking about Palantir Technologies, some interesting things that are happening right now with its price action in an important resistance zone that it's actually sitting at right now. If it were to break out, we could see a test out here into the mid-20s. And of course, celebrating Nvidia trading at its 10-for-1 stock split adjusted price, now at $120. We have some key analysts that are continuing to still raise their targets due to the stock split and saying there's still room for growth. So if you are a new or a returning viewer, hit that like button, subscribe for daily videos, and of course, I'm not a financial advisor. I'm collecting all the data and dispatching it to you. Pop it up at the screen here, what we see with Palantir Technologies. Closing here at 23.13, basically consolidating on the day. And I think this is great, especially holding kind of above this $21 area that PLTR has been trading for some time. You can see right down here. Now, what PLTR does have as a big test, and that could be happening tomorrow, is this $23 resistance point. You can see, of course, the last time we were able to break above this was kind of the hype of the possible S&P 500 inclusion. And the time before that was basically right before Q1 results were actually released. If PLTR is able to maintain and break above this resistance point, I think we could possibly see, in my opinion, some testings here to the mid-20s. We're talking 23, 24, 25. Now, also, in addition, you have the short interest percent of the float that is also continuing to decrease. Just about a week ago, what we see with PLTR is at about 3.5%, now coming here to 3.49%. So as this percent of the float is continuing to decrease in terms of short interest, this is telling me that more investors, especially on the institutional side, are taking a bullish bet on PLTR. Now, talking about what happened in the market today and what we are expecting. We have the S&P 500 that rose about 2.26%, hitting a record close right now at 56.30. Now, inflation, of course, is the biggest agenda in front of the Fed. And what we are going to be getting is the June decision here in the near future. Now, the central bank is expected to hold the actual monetary policy and not change the interest rates come June. But with the CPI data that will be coming out, this is giving us a better gauge on what's going to happen come September, because that is kind of the probability variable that right now the market is pricing in, hoping for those first interest rate cuts. And we've seen policy, monetary policy, they are showing a majority of the interest rate cuts that they are expecting. They're expecting 2 interest rate cuts of 1/4 percentage point will be appropriate before the end of 2024. The majority of the market is still riding on this type of narrative. Now, talking about Palantir stocks, and right here, interesting article about 3 reasons to buy. I wanted to cover this. Number one is the trend reversal for this fast approaching PLTR, and specifically talking about this short-term scenario. And what we see in terms of the technical patterns is breaking through this head and shoulders bearish pattern that PLTR was kind of subject to basically succumb to for a decent amount of time. And we saw some important reversals being triggered at that 20, and right now testing this key resistance point where a decisive break above this level would help neutralize this previous head and shoulders pattern. And of course, a break above 26 would be a very positive signal. Could we possibly have some key catalysts that help accelerate that into the near future? One thing that does kind of, I want to say, correlate and help compile with that is, of course, this large $480 million deal that we've seen with the Army, of course, with the Maven Smart System. Nonetheless, what we have with this information is that we see analysts that are starting to rethink targets for PLTR shares. And this is awesome because if we look at PLTR right here, specifically analyst ratings, the average price target right now is at 22.70. We're sitting just slightly above that. So some of these analysts could possibly change their targets. We have the high right here at 35 and the minimum at Let's take a second to thank the sponsor of this video, MooMoo. Now, MooMoo is your one-stop trading app that offers free commission trading along with very powerful investment tools, making it easier for you to make those confident decisions within the market. Right now, new users can sign up utilizing my welcome bonus down in the description, and you can get up to 8.1% limited time APY on uninvested cash and up to 15 free stocks with a deposit. You also can get up to a $300 transfer in bonus. So you do not want to miss out on those rewards. Make sure you check out MooMoo down in the description. Back to the video. And if we go back to another reason for PLTR and what we are seeing is the growth outlook that is continuing to explode. We've seen increasing rapid demand, and in Q1, of course, we saw that revenue increase by 21% to $634 million, the fastest pace that we've seen since late of 2022. Talking about what I want to pinpoint, and that is Nvidia right here, begins its post-stock split era with price target hikes. Remember, of course, we had Nvidia that went through its 10-for-1 stock split, and what we are seeing here is Barclays analyst and Tom O'Malley, he actually raised his price target on Nvidia to $145 from a split adjusted of $120. That's basically at $1,400 looking at pre-split, saying he reiterates his overweight and his buy rating for PLTR. And what we also are seeing here are also analysts of this financial group right here, upping their price target on Nvidia stock also to $145. Now, one of the big things that we saw with Nvidia, of course, is the fact that they have continued to be one of the biggest influencers of the broader market, and they have really helped contribute to a lot of the market growth within the S&P 500. So if we continue to expect the sales for Nvidia to increase, this means that they will have a large influence on the broader market, which will help bring up, of course, that broader market. Supply chain checks right now are showing smooth transitions to Nvidia's B100 AI processors for data centers in the second half of 2024. So what this means is, continuing with all the hype that is behind PLTR, we are still continuing to see supply chains that are running smooth, which is incredibly important, of course, with large areas of demand. And that's basically where we sit right now. We have tomorrow, Tuesday, and of course we have Wednesday that will be releasing that key inflationary data that I think is going to be a good judge, of course, on those probability of future interest rate cuts. The only thing that I could see where possibly we could see this market turn bearish is if we do not get those 2 interest rate cuts by the end of 2024. If we see the probability of that all of a sudden decrease significantly, either due to large changes in market perspective, such as a very high inflationary or a very high CPI report, that's when I think we could possibly see a swing in the market. However, with Nvidia that just went through its stock split, we're continuing to see growth and momentum in the economy. Just look at the jobs report that came out last Friday, the amount of jobs that were added on payroll compared to the amount that was expected. I think we're still going to continue to see growth within the whole economy. And that is also coupled with AI demand, which of course includes Palantir Technologies. And in the short term, I think we could possibly see PLTR making its way into that area of the 25s. And even like we checked in the article before, if it's able to break above the 26, this could be very successful for Palantir. However, talking about what we do see and reasons that we talk about, there could be any type of pullback or corrections at any time. And looking at price targets right there, we've seen PLTR that does have a decent amount of support at that $20 area. And specifically at that $20 area, Palantir has actually looked pretty healthy. We've seen critical reversal points that have been triggered at that $20 area, and that support level has really become an incremental level of support as PLTR has grown on this growth journey ever since they became profitable. Other than that, that's really all that I have for you guys. I want to know, what do you think down in the comments is going to be happening here to the market in the near future? And do you think the inflationary data that will be released on Wednesday is going to be bullish for the market? Or do you think we're going to see some hesitation and a little bit of pushing on the brakes? I want to know all your thoughts. Peace out, take care, and I'll catch you guys later.